Have you ever felt the pressure to be happy all the time? You're not alone. A staggering 70% of people report feeling stressed about their happiness levels. In a world full of perfect Instagram posts and motivational quotes, it's easy to believe that happiness is a constant state we should all achieve. But here's the shocking truth: chasing happiness can actually lead to unhappiness. Research shows that when we strive to be happy every moment, we set ourselves up for failure. A study published in Psychological Science found that people who chase happiness often feel more anxious and less fulfilled. This is because constant pressure to be happy can make us ignore our real emotions. Instead of feeling free to express ourselves, we may feel trapped in a cycle of pretending. So, what's the alternative? In this video, we'll explore why trying to be happy all the time doesn't work and why it's okay to feel a mix of emotions. We'll uncover powerful strategies to embrace life's ups and downs, helping you build a more authentic and fulfilling life. Get ready to dive deep into the reasons behind the happiness myth, the power of negative emotions, and how finding balance can lead to true joy. By the end, you'll see that happiness isn't the goal, it's just one part of a much bigger picture. Let's embark on this journey together and discover a healthier way to approach our emotions. Chapter 1. The Happiness Trap. Chasing the impossible. Let's be honest, we've all felt the pressure to be happy all the time. It's almost like society has made happiness the ultimate goal, the finish line we should constantly sprint toward. But here's the reality: chasing happiness non-stop isn't just exhausting, it's impossible. The truth is, happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes, like waves on the beach. Trying to hold onto it all the time is like trying to catch sand with your hands. It slips away, no matter how hard you try. In fact, research from a 2018 study published in Psychological Science found that people who prioritize happiness too much often feel more stressed and disappointed. Why? Because when happiness becomes an obsession, any emotion that isn't joy feels like a failure. This creates a cycle where people feel worse about themselves for not being able to stay happy. It's no wonder psychologist Russ Harris calls this the happiness trap in his book by the same name. He argues that constantly pursuing happiness can backfire, making us feel more dissatisfied in the long run. A better approach? Focus on living a meaningful life, rather than a happy one. Studies show that people who prioritize meaning over happiness have a stronger sense of fulfillment. Meaning often comes from challenges and discomfort, not from smiling all day. So, instead of chasing happiness, aim to live a life aligned with your values, even if it's tough sometimes. That way, happiness becomes a byproduct of your journey, not the destination. Chapter 2. The Power of Negative Emotions. Allies, not enemies. We're often told to avoid negative emotions, as if they're some kind of enemy. But here's the kicker: negative emotions are actually incredibly useful. Anger, sadness, frustration, these feelings exist for a reason. They guide us, teach us, and even protect us. Think of them as your brain's way of telling you something needs to change. Take anger, for example. It can signal that your boundaries have been crossed or that you're facing an injustice. Sadness? It's your brain's way of slowing you down, forcing you to reflect and heal. Ignoring these emotions or pushing them down doesn't make them go away, it makes them stronger. A 2017 study published in Emotion found that people who accept their negative emotions, rather than fight them, experience better mental health in the long run. Famed psychologist Carl Jung once said, "What you resist, persists." This means that the more you try to avoid or suppress your negative feelings, the more they tend to stick around. So, what's the strategy here? Start seeing your negative emotions as helpful signals. If you're feeling frustrated, ask yourself what needs to change in your life. If you're feeling sad, take it as a sign to rest and recharge. One powerful technique is journaling. Writing down your feelings helps you process them, rather than bury them. Another strategy is mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness, you allow yourself to experience emotions without judgment. This reduces their power over you. Instead of battling negative emotions, try embracing them as part of your growth. Chapter 3. The Myth of Eternal Sunshine. Why darkness is necessary. We've been sold the idea that life should always be sunshine and rainbows. But the truth is, life includes a lot of storms too. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, The tough times make the good times sweeter. Think about it. If you were happy all the time, you'd stop noticing it. Joy would lose its sparkle because you'd have nothing to compare it to. That's why the lows in life are so essential. The ancient Greeks believed in the idea of eudaimonia, which isn't just happiness, but flourishing through both joy and hardship. Modern research backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology showed that people who go through challenging experiences often report higher levels of overall life satisfaction. Struggles give us depth and resilience, which ultimately leads to more fulfilling lives. One of the best examples of this is the concept of post-traumatic growth. While trauma is undeniably difficult, many people report coming out stronger and more resilient after enduring it. As author Elizabeth Lessard puts it in her book Broken Open, how strange that the nature of life is change, yet the nature of human beings is to resist change. The dark times push us to evolve, to shed old layers and become more aligned with our true selves. So, instead of fearing or avoiding darkness, try to embrace it. See it as part of the full spectrum of life. Meditation is a great tool for this, as it helps you sit with discomfort without trying to fix it right away. Another strategy is practicing gratitude, not just for the good times but for the lessons in the tough ones. When you start to see darkness as necessary for growth, the pressure to always be happy begins to fade. If you're finding this content helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on personal development and emotional well-being. Chapter 4. Happiness Hijacked. When social pressure becomes self-sabotage. Ever notice how social media is full of smiling faces and perfect lives? It's like happiness has become a performance, and everyone feels the pressure to play along. But this constant push to look happy can actually backfire. Studies show that the more people feel pressured to be happy, the less happy they become. According to a 2014 study in Emotion, people who felt societal pressure to be happy were more likely to experience anxiety and even depression. So, what's going on here? It turns out, when you feel forced to be happy, you start ignoring your real emotions. You might even fake happiness to fit in or avoid feeling like an outsider. But pretending to be happy is emotionally draining. It creates a disconnect between how you feel inside and how you present yourself to the world. This leads to burnout, stress, and sometimes, even feelings of guilt for not living up to the happiness ideal. One strategy to counter this is practicing emotional authenticity. This means being real with yourself and others about how you feel. Brené Brown, a researcher and author, says in her book The Gifts of Imperfection, authenticity is a daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Instead of pretending to be happy, focus on sharing your genuine feelings with people you trust. By doing this, you allow yourself to process emotions rather than hide them. Another useful technique is setting boundaries with social media. Limiting your exposure to platforms that promote the highlight reel of life can help reduce feelings of comparison and inadequacy. Remember, it's okay not to be happy all the time, and you don't have to put on a show for anyone. Chapter 5. Authentic Joy. The power of embracing wholeness. Real joy comes from living an authentic, whole life, not just from being happy 24/7. Wholeness means accepting all parts of your experience, both the good and the bad. It's about being honest with yourself and embracing your imperfections. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl writes, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." This is key to understanding true joy. It's not about changing every difficult situation into a happy one, but about changing how you relate to those situations. A strategy for cultivating wholeness is self-compassion. Psychologist Kristin Neff, who pioneered research on self-compassion, explains that treating yourself with kindness in tough times is essential for emotional well-being. Instead of beating yourself up for feeling sad or frustrated, try giving yourself the same understanding you'd offer a friend. This shift can help you experience a more genuine and sustainable sense of joy. Another strategy is integrating mindfulness into your daily routine. Mindfulness encourages you to stay present with your emotions without labeling them as good or bad. By observing your feelings without judgment, you allow yourself to fully experience life's ups and downs, leading to a deeper connection with yourself. A study published in Emotion found that mindfulness practitioners experienced greater emotional balance, which ultimately led to higher life satisfaction. Remember, the goal isn't to erase difficult emotions but to integrate them into your life. When you embrace the whole picture, you open yourself up to authentic joy that's not dependent on external circumstances. If you enjoyed this journey into the complexities of happiness and fulfillment, be sure to subscribe for more insights on personal development. Let's continue to explore and grow together.